Hi, my favorite Joe. I love saying your name now. We are live. Thank you for joining us, whoever is here. Welcome to our divergent discussion. My name is Carla Pretorius. I'm a psychotherapist, a registered psychotherapist, a PhD researcher at Católica here in Portugal, and also the clinical lead for Caboose, an inclusive and safe community for neurodivergent people to connect, learn, and thrive with one another. We're built by neurodivergent people for neurodivergent people. I think that's kind of the key for me in this field, at least. This is just a reminder that this divergent discussion will be recorded, or it is being recorded, and we'll be sending out a copy to everyone who has paid ticket. We'll also have time at the end for audience questions. So please just add your questions in the chat, and then we'll get to that at the end, like maybe the last 15 minutes. I was just telling my favorite Joe that I'm not very good with time. So hopefully I can scrape away 15 minutes at the end. And then I want to start with a bio. Sorry for talking so much. Joe, known online as my favorite Joe, is an ADHDer, a creator, advocate, and community builder who helps neurodivergent people see their strengths through humor and storytelling, which I absolutely love that combination. And I'm just going to pause here for a second. Why? I have clients that I work with, and I do a lot of storytelling with them. My brother is a director and writer for movies, feature films.
Mm,
And I do so many like writing books and for them to kind of like tell their story through, tell their stories through books. And I've
mm.
seen such a great, like, just an empowerment with my clients where, even the young ones where they'll tell their story with these characters and externalizing it. So I really like what you're bringing in storytelling and obviously humor. I mean, who doesn't like to laugh?
Pretty much.
This is like the best thing. Okay, so Joe flips the script on how ADHD and autism are viewed, reframing them not only as completely normal ways of being, but also highlighting strengths that are often overlooked. She also runs my favorite cult, which I found hilarious. I saw that I saw your video where you were asking people to join the cult, and it was so funny to me. It's like, come and join the cult. What is this called?
I
and
figured just the name alone will weed out anyone that doesn't have a good sense of humor.
Exactly, yeah, because they'll be like, "Oh no, I don't want to join a cult." Okay, yeah, you're not part of, you shouldn't be part of this anyways. An online community that fosters connection, support, and fun for neurodivergent people. The neurotypicals are welcome, but they probably won't like it. You know what? Other video I also liked about you is your first one, the pinned one that you have about neurotypical communication. I found
Are
that,
you hungry?
yeah, exactly. Are you hungry? And then there's so much behind it. And it's so true, right? It's like, are you hungry? And then this face of disappointment, and we're trying to figure out what happened.
I copped a lot of abuse in the comments for that. They're like, "What else could I possibly mean by 'Are you hungry?'" I'm like, "Are you being serious?
Uh,
You could mean 10 different things, and that's why I'm confused." And they're like, "Of course I'm inviting you to lunch." I'm like, "Just say that then. It's not that hard."
yeah, exactly. It's so difficult for us. But if anyone is confused with this, what we're talking about, please do go check out my favorite Joe's Instagram page because I found it really funny. I was kind of going down a rabbit hole with your videos last night. My first question is going to be to you about your platform around building and focusing on highlighting strengths, sorry, in neurodivergence. What first inspired you to start flipping that script and reframing the narrative?
Uh, my interest and I probably went down that rabbit hole probably close to 30 years ago now. I had a friend as a teenager who was mildly bipolar, and his mother was a psychologist. And I remember and she used to focus on strengths. She says, "I can't
Wow,
hear Joe." That's not ideal at
that's
all, or am I quiet?
that's strange because I can hear you. Can anyone else hear Joe?
I think there's only three of us. I can hear.
Okay, so
You can hear.
maybe
The
her video
video isn't
isn't
working.
loading. Maybe that is on your side, Emily, because Ash can hear her and Chloe too. So maybe just reload. That's always my answer. It's like just reboot. Um,
Worst, we'll send you the video.
yeah, exactly. We'll send you the video afterwards, Emily, if this is a problem, because I can hear, and I think the others too. So sorry about that. That is strange though. That that many years ago that somebody reframed things positively, eh? Right? Like, how good is that?
Yeah, so her son, who was my friend, was bipolar, and she was saying that bipolar often comes with, like, when they're in a high, they are intensely creative and they have insane confidence and they have these ideas that are so out of the box, no one has considered them before, and then they have the confidence to follow through with it, and so you often have these amazing entrepreneurs, and then, like, even Forbes magazine has called bipolar disorder the entrepreneur disorder because you are 10 times more likely to be bipolar if you are an entrepreneur.
Oh,
Or
wow.
like I should say bipolar is out of it's 10 times more prevalent in the entrepreneur space than the average population. And so then I'm like, "Hang on a minute, I wonder if this is true for everything else." And I started going down the rabbit hole on because this was the '90s when, all ADHD kids were those bratty little Bart Simpsons and all autistic kids were the Rain Man, and, like, they
Mm,
were all extreme examples, and there was no such thing as mild, and there was no such thing as
mm,
girls, and there was no such thing as positives. So, yeah, that sort of got me going down the rabbit hole, and then, yeah, I guess when TikTok came along, I didn't intend to be a TikTok person or an Insta person. It was like everyone else, it was COVID, and I just made one video because I'm like, something to do, and that sort of blew up, and then I'm like, "Oh, that was fun. Let me do that
that's
again." And that blew up, and yeah, so it was just, I'm like, it just seemed such a foreign concept from for so many people that, "Oh, this could actually be a good thing." That, yeah, a lot of people were listening. They're like, "Hang on a minute, are you saying that I'm not busted and broken and need a cure?" So, yeah, it
yeah.
just resonated with a lot of people.
Yeah, I love that. I think there's obviously like a balance that we need to strike because sometimes it is difficult being neurodivergent. But I think just bringing in that sense of humor and just like saying, okay, you know what, we can also joke about it. That I absolutely love because as soon as I know that my therapist usually tells me that it's a coping skill, my humor,
Mhm.
because I laugh about everything. But I'm tricking my brain into actually having fun with the things that are difficult. So it makes it a
Yeah.
little bit easier for me.
I don't know why sense of humor is necessarily seen negatively. I'm like, "What's the alternative? Be miserable about it?" Like, it's
Exactly. Yeah. It's going to make it worse, right?
yeah. And I was gonna say this with something else later, but, like, even studies show that if you view your neurotype in a positive light, you'll find more to experience it positively. Like, if you're looking for the
Mm,
positives, you will find the positives, and you're just like, "Why would I sit here going, 'Wow, I'm broken and busted and things are hard?'" And you're just like, "Things are hard for every neurotype. Stop focusing
yeah.
on those bits."
Yeah.
And no, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it's never difficult and it's never shit for some people,
Mm,
but it's not automatically shit.
yeah, exactly. What is your background in, Joe?
Nothing to do with this. So um, I did, originally I did a maths degree and a dip ed. I was gonna be a high school maths teacher. I ended up homeschooling my son. I didn't when I did the dip ed, for teaching, I loved the teaching. I loved, finding things differently and explaining things in different ways for kids. Hated the politics of teaching. I'm like, "You'd have to pay me double to put up with
Mm,
this crap." Um, and then I was homeschooling my son, and then I was a software engineer. Like,
oh,
I
wow.
have done you tend to find that ADHDs and autistic people are either they go from job to job to job to job to job, which are completely unrelated, or we're at the same job for 20 years. And
Yeah.
I also worked in disabilities, as a carer for people in disabilities in day programs. I was a delivery driver.
Wow. That's so random. Eh? It like went
Um,
everywhere.
and, Hapkido instructor for kids, that's not really a job, that's more of a fun thing I do. I do Hapkido, which is martial arts, and then I also help teach in the kids
Okay.
class. So it does I do and then I also taught coding after studying coding. So teaching comes up a lot, quite honestly. It keeps
Mm.
um, yeah, I really enjoy teaching.
That's awesome though, because you're teaching a lot through your videos and you've got such a knack for just like keeping attention. I'm so jealous of that because it's just like every time I watch your videos, I'm like, wait, what is she going to say now? What's she going to do now? It's like this random face popping in and then what's happening? So when you think of ADHD and autistic strengths, which ones are most often overlooked or undervalued by society, would you say?
Dead set, I think every single strength. Like, I don't think there no, almost our society does not look at autism or
Mm,
ADHD and go, "Oh, check out these strengths." Never. It doesn't happen. And even when we do have strengths which are very obvious to us,
yeah.
they're often, from a neurotypical lens, they're often flipped to be a negative thing. So I mean, it's well known that we don't lie. We're very moral often. They did a study one time where they said if you had to do this really immoral act, and the immoral act was killing animals for money. If you had to do this immoral act and people knew that you were going to do it, but you got paid for it, would you do it? And most people across the board said, no, I'm not going to do it. And then they said, okay, would you do it if nobody found out? 80% of the neurotypicals changed their answer. They went, oh, well, if no one's going to find out, then yeah, I'll do it. I'll like, if you're going to pay me to do it, no one finds out, I'll do it. Most of the autistic people went, no, it's not right. I'm not doing it. I don't care if people. And then you know how, the conclusion. This one drives me nuts. Seriously, this study is up there as I'm just like, I want to punch someone in the face. Their conclusion to that study was that we are too morally rigid. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? So even our strengths, they flip our strengths to make them weaknesses. So I mean, like, even you get a neurotypical that really loves something and they are passionate, they are driven. You get an autistic person that loves something and they're obsessed. They got a special interest. And I'm like, special interest sounds like I'm a 5-year-old with a teddy bear. Can you stop making me sound like I'm a child? When ADHDers are energetic, like, why don't they describe us as energetic? Instead, they're like, no, you're hyperactive. You need to sit still. The things that we have, even our advantages, they describe as weaknesses. I'm like, I'm 40 years old and I'm still capable of moving around. I'm pretty sure other 40-year-olds are jealous of that. It's called energy, not hyperactivity. It's shitty. I think society overlooks all our strengths. And the ones that we do have, they relabel as negatives. And it pisses me off, quite honestly.
Yeah. I think you would love my PhD project that I'm busy with at the moment. So I'm focusing on women specifically with ADHD. I was going to include ADHD, and then my professor said, no, you have to, they're very strict with academia. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is focusing not just on the typical symptoms, characteristics in the DSM that we get labeled as, but also the other things that we go through on a daily basis. Our hyperfixations, our rejection sensitivity, the anxiety, all of these things. But then to ask ADHD women, what do they actually do for these characteristics? Because we're not being told what we can do to actually make it easier for us in society.
Yeah.
So I think we really need to start focusing research, academia, more on actually neurodivergent individuals. I think there's such a massive gap. And it's like the way that we speak, like even academics. When I said that I was diagnosed with ADHD to my professor, the head of the department, I'm just calling her out now, she rolled her eyes. She was like, oh, so this is the head of the PhD psychology department. Yeah, because, now you're also got a diagnosis. Yes, three ADHD diagnoses in 3 different countries just to prove that I have it.
Which doctor I went to, and I'm like, I need to get back on the medication. I forgot which doctor I went to, so I'm going to go do it again.
And then
someone said, why didn't you go back to the doctor that referred you? And they could have told you the doctor. I'm like,
that's smart. Yeah. We do think about like some of the most obvious things, but then we come up with these amazing solutions that people didn't even know were issues. And we're like, well, you should be doing this and you'll save so much money. And people are like, well, we didn't even know that. It's so true, right? Like what you're saying is that we really need to show people that it is a good thing, what we have. And yes, we're going to forget the obvious thing, but that's what a lot of holistic people can tell us.
That's
and
why
remind
you're
us.
supposed to work together, not separate. So it tells.
Yeah, okay, we should do a TED talk. Anyway, so the other thing that I was going to ask you, we did actually speak about humor, but do you use a lot of humor in your content? How do you see it helping individuals to process their neurodivergent identity? Do you feel that it could help or that it helps everyone? Or how?
I tend to find, like, again, flipping the script, people actually realize just how messed up the way we are often spoken about is. Like, I often get comments of like, oh, we're just going to bully the neurotypicals now. And I'm like, I use the exact same language that they use describing us to describe them. And yet you find it offensive now? Like, think about that for a sec. Like, if it's offensive when I say it about you, it's offensive when you say it about us. But it's so normalized to talk about ADHDs and autistic people and how they're busted or broken. They need accommodations because and I'm just like, so I talk about neurotypicals needing accommodations. Like, I'm like, "Don't let the neurotypicals do maths in their head. They can't do it. Just give them a calculator." And then people are like, "That's so offensive. You can't say that." And I'm like, "Why? You say it about us all the time." Like, you gotta give the ADHD fidget toys because they can't sit still. And you're just like, "That's just a good idea for everyone, really. It's just that we need
Yeah.
it more." And yeah, like, I just tend a lot of people actually go, "Oh, it never actually occurred to me how messed up that is that what you just said when you said it backwards." It's kinda like where I tend to find a lot of parallels between neurotypical and neurodivergent and male and female. So, like, there's a lot of those similar sort of discussions. It's kinda like where they'll ask a female actress, they're like, "What underwear were you wearing under those really tight pants?" And you're just like, "Would you ask a man that?"
No.
Or they'll ask a female CEO, they'll call her a female CEO for one, and they'll be like,
Yeah.
"How do you balance being a mum and being a CEO?" And you're like, "Would you ask a man that? Like, would you
No.
ask a man, how do you balance being a dad and a CEO?" Like, it's that sort of
Yeah.
thing. It's like, it's so normal to ask neurodivergent people or say really offensive stuff, and
Uh,
when I flip it, all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, that's really offensive when you say it when you do it the other way around." I didn't realize how offensive it was until you said it back to us. Um,
yeah, I
so yeah, I
think
think
it's
it's yeah.
sorry. Mm. That's typical. This is going to happen a lot in this
Yeah.
hour. No, but I think it's also just the way that, oh, now I lost my train of thought. But, oh, yes, exactly. So what you're saying with with accommodations, right? It's like if we stop polarizing and stop saying, okay, we're accommodating, it's just we're making the environment a little bit more friendly for everyone. We're making language a bit more direct, which
Yep.
should be the case. Like what I'm saying to you should be what I'm meaning, 'cause it should like
Oh, dear God,
that's a
please, yes.
it's such a it's such an easy thing when you say it like that. It's like, why do we have all this intention behind our words and, like, hidden meanings? And I'm finding it now because I'm back on the dating scene at 41,
Mm,
and I find it extremely hard to communicate with individuals because I'm very direct and I want to get to deeper conversations. And that just like, that's not the way you do it. You need to go step by step. And I'm like, but why? I'm 41. I have 50 years left. If that, one fifth of that is a year. And if you're going to waste a whole 1/50th of my lifetime, then it better be good. Like I need to find out exactly everything. And
mhm.
it's a bit intense for
I mean,
other
that's another
brains.
one that they label negatively that we're, because we're really honest
Yeah.
and we say what we mean. They're like, "Oh, they're blunt," or "They're brutally honest." I'm like, "There's no level of honest. You're either honest or you're not. Why is it
Yeah.
brutal when I'm actually honest?" Like,
It's such a bad word as well, brutal. It sounds like you're gonna kill somebody with your words.
yeah. And so I'll often describe the neurotypicals as, oh, they have trouble telling the truth. They
Yeah.
lie a lot. And they're like, "That's so offensive, you can't say that." I'm like,
It's just the opposite,
"Oh,
exactly. What is a personal example of a weakness in these things you were told that you had turned out to be actually that turned out to be a strength?
I didn't cop a lot of that crap growing up as much as I see a lot of people online. Like, it's really common for ADHDers and autistic people to have really low self-esteem because they're copying it at home, they're copying it at school, or so I didn't, and my mum was just like, "Meh, that's Joe." Like,
Nice.
I wasn't getting told you need to do this. Although I do remember there were a few times where, like, I was probably about 14, 15, and mum's like, "We gotta go get you some makeup." And I'm like, "Why?" And she's like, "All your friends are gonna be wearing makeup." And I'm like, "I don't care, I don't wanna wear makeup." And she's like, "Oh, all your friends will be doing it, and you're gonna wanna do it, so, we'll go get you some makeup." I'm like, "Don't waste your money, I don't wanna wear it, I don't like the feeling of it on my face." And, so we went and bought makeup anyway, and it sat in the cupboard and went moldy. And, and then there was a few times like that where we also went, clothes shopping, and she's like, "Let me get you this cute little fitted girly top." And I'm like, "I don't wanna wear that." And he's like, "You will eventually, all your friends will." And I'm like, I'm like, "I don't wanna wear it makes me feel uncomfortable." Like, I was very much a tomboy. I liked loose clothes. I preferred a lot of the boys' clothes because they were just far more comfortable. Um, and I still do. Like, I've got, this was probably I don't know if it was in the men's section. But it was cool and it's got monsters on it.
It is a cool shirt. I thought it was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but what are they?
I think it reminds me of the Gruffalo from,
Yes, it does,
I don't
doesn't
know what it
it?
is. It's,
Like a robotic
Kenji
Gruffalo.
Kenji
It's
is the
very
brand
cool.
with a K. But, yeah, So, yeah, as far as the negative quality is like, but the negative quality being, oh, you don't really wanna do all the cool things or keep and I'm like, but as a positive, peer pressure does not work on me, and it never did. Like,
Mhm,
if all the cool kids, are like, "Oh, let's go jump off a," and then I was saying that to my mum. I'm like, "So if all my friends jumped off a bridge, you want me to?" It's
mhm,
just there was different things that were in, different fashion senses that were in, and mum's like, "Let's go get you that." And I'm like, "No, it looks stupid. I'm not wearing
mhm.
that." It's just peer pressure's not gonna work, and it
Yeah,
doesn't work on a lot of autistic people. We're just like, if we
yeah.
like it, we like it. If we don't, we don't, and you can't peer pressure me into it.
And that's such an important point because I think a lot of, for me, it was a bit different with my ADHD because it was, I only picked up later that I had ADHD. So I kind of fell for peer pressure in the beginning because my anxiety was so high. So I really wanted to fit in.
Mm,
And smoking was an example, right? So I smoked when I was younger because everybody smoked and it was the cool thing to do. And that actually really got me into the cool group.
yeah,
But now I obviously realized later on, and now I have this very strong, no, I don't like it, where I
yeah,
also need to kind of like open myself up a little bit because otherwise I would just sit in the house because this is my safe space. So it's kind
yeah.
of like, yeah, I need to kind of gauge it the whole time and make sure that I'm not isolating myself too much from society.
I find I'm better at it not better at letting people peer pressure me, but I will I'm less I'm a lot less black and white now. As a teenager and when I was younger, I was very black and white. It was either right or it was wrong, and you cannot
Yeah.
convince me. I'm a little more I can see gray a little bit better now. And so,
Okay.
yeah, I'll be like, "All right, I'll go do this just because everyone else is."
But, like, okay, so that's actually a really good point, right? And I know the next question that I have for you is in your experience, how can neurodivergent people start to spot and embrace their own strengths? And this kind of goes with that because black and white thinking or that kind of obsolete thinking is something that we sometimes struggle with. But if we kind of let ourselves go into that, like my ex is autistic and he was very black and white. So we became so isolated from society because I'd be like, yeah, it is safer here inside the house. So I never pushed myself to go out. But what would you say, like, where's the balance and also thinking about the strengths?
The balance in thinking about the strengths or
No,
balance in
sorry,
being
2
brave?
questions. The balance
Yep.
of, like, not being too black and white, and also the strengths, the question that I have here for the neurodivergent people start to spot and embrace their own strengths.
Uh, for spotting strengths, go watch my videos. I talk about them all the time.
Nice.
It can be really hard to find the strengths, to tell you the truth, and I've spent years, decades digging for them, so just look, the TLDR, go watch my videos. As far as being able to see the grey more, I think what really helped me with that is if anyone's watched Big Bang, and I know a lot of autistic people who
Mm.
hate it because they're like, "Sheldon is so," and I'm like, "I used to be Sheldon."
Yeah, I love Sheldon.
I was very much like like, he is very black and white, and that was me.
Uh,
It was people like, "Sheldon's he's so disingenuous as far as autistic people," and I'm like, that was what
mm.
I was like. I
It's
really
like
wasn't
my
lucky.
ex too.
Yeah. As far as seeing the grey, learning to see the grey, I have had over the years, and really lucky to have, 4 that stick out, 4 pennies. I call them my pennies in my life, like Penny from Big Bang, like those really lovely, genuinely lovely people that understand that they can speak autistic and they can speak neurotypical, and they are just so loving and gentle and can translate the world for you a little bit. And
Mm,
I think just having those pennies in my life over the last couple of decades that have just really gently explained a few like perspectives to me where they're like, here's why this other person's mad at you.
mm,
And like, it didn't even occur to me that was a thing because I was just being honest and that
mm,
person got upset or whatever. And I'm like, it didn't even occur to me. And so it was
mm,
just for me, it was having those pennies in my life that would do that. And then also I devoured personal development books when I was younger and body language books and how men's brains works, how
mm,
women's brains work, how men and women work together, how different personality types, different
mm.
like I got bookshelves and bookshelves and bookshelves of those,
That's
just learning
awesome.
how people work.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a process learning to see grey.
Mm.
My hubby, when we first met, he was just so many times when we're dating, he's like, "Oh my god, you are so black and white." It's But yeah, it's having those gentle people in your life, and
Mm.
they're often when I look back, those pennies, they're actually neurodivergent, and they just seem to have a special interest in, or just I think not even a special interest. They actually just have a natural, like, talent for seeing people, like they've just got a genius level in understanding people. They're all neurodivergent though, which we're supposed to be the ones that have no empathy and we don't understand people, but these people are genius level at understanding people. I think they just had
Mm.
a lot of lived experience, I guess.
Or like, yeah, the ones that go into becoming therapists. I think there are a lot of neurodivergent individuals that realize later,
Yeah,
when they're already a therapist, they're like, oh, that's why I have so much empathy, because we do have so much empathy for others. We can kind of sense when somebody needs us. I think
yeah,
we really do make great therapists. I love the analogy that you said about the pennies, because it's like a penny, you're carrying your pennies around like
yeah,
it's a little treasure, and they translate the world to you, that they kind of bridge it. So I
yeah.
really like that analogy. We do have some questions which I'll get to at the end, but I wanted to this is a really nice, I always say this wrong, the word segue or segue, which one is
Segway.
it? Segue.
Seg.
Because
Yeah.
some people say segue, and I'm like, I don't know which one it is. I'm just going to use both.
Well, in Australia, we say it with a g sound.
Okay, thank you. Segue into the community question, because I think that you've kind of like lifted that topic as well, how important it is to have a community. And is there anything that you want to say about the role that the community played in helping people see themselves more positively in your community, maybe online?
Yeah, so I as was saying before, I run my favorite cult, which is an online community for neurodivergent people. I mean, the neurotypicals are welcome, but they're probably not going to enjoy it. Um, and we don't have any neurotypicals in there. But anyway, yeah, what I really like they've done studies. I've read 50 million studies. I find so many of my answers start with they've done studies. Um, they have found that community is really important for people in general. But I always tend to find anytime something's really helpful for neurodivergent people, you're like, it's actually really important for everybody. It's just extra important for us.
Mm,
So they found that community is really important for our people, especially because there's just less of us around. So finding each other is amazing. And one of the things I love about my favorite goal is when someone first joins, you will see them info dumping, you'll see them telling the bad joke, you'll tell that they'll all sorts of things, and they'll keep apologizing. They'll be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have said that," or "I'm so
mm,
sorry," and all the rest of us are loving it. We're just
mhm,
like, they're like, they info dump you like, "Oh my God, tell me more." So like we once, right at the start, one of the guys told us about how there is a mountain of cheese hidden in America somewhere. They went into the whole story.
is
And I'm like,
there?
yeah, I'm like, do you mean a literal mountain of cheese? He's like, yes.
What?
And he gave us a whole half-hour talk on it. It was amazing.
I want to know about where it is.
I know, right? He actually ended up making a YouTube video and we linked it for us all. I'll have to ask him
Okay.
where it is again.
Yeah,
But
please.
yeah, so when they first join the cult, so many people they'll just do their usual info dump, or they'll tell the dodgy
Mm,
joke, or they'll be like, "I'm really interested in this messed up hobby that most
mm,
people freak out about." And then they apologize. They're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, that was too personal." And none of us are upset.
mm,
No one's turned off by it. We're all asking questions. We're really interested. And slowly over about a month or so, they're like, "I'm allowed to be like that here." And then
mm,
when you're in community, you also notice I'm not the only one that does that. I'm like,
mm.
and you start to realize that all these little quirks that used to make you weird or made you the my dog's barking.
No, it's
They
fine.
used
My
to make
dog is,
you
yeah.
they're not weird when you're among your own
Mm.
people. It's just like I last weekend, I went away with, so I was recently started working with Kaiko fidget toys.
Oh,
Um,
I love them. Also
yeah,
Joe.
yeah, yeah. They sent me the cool stuff. Like I've been playing with them ever
Yeah, I
since.
was thinking that's Kaiko's fidgets. Yeah.
And we talked on the phone one time. The first time we ever chatted, we spoke for an hour and a half, and then at the end of that, we decided we're going away for holidays for a weekend, and we just did last weekend. And
Oh,
one of my cult
amazing.
members as well. Uh, and so we went away for the weekend, and there's three of us women, and we're sitting at a desk playing with fidget toys, and then one of us says something which sets the other one off singing, and then the other one jumps in for the duets in the singing, and then this one, and it was just so normal. No one was like, "Oh,
Mm,
sorry, that was embarrassing." It's just like
mm,
it's just so much fun when you're in a room of other neurodivergent people and you
mm,
realize I'm not weird.
mm.
I'm like, I love the phrase, I'm not a weird horse, I'm a normal zebra. Like
Oh,
the
cool.
whole time I thought I was a weird horse, and I'm actually just a normal zebra.
Oh, that's awesome. It gave me goosebumps when you were talking because I feel sometimes that when I'm in a group, and I think this is a lot of us feel like this, that everything we say is wrong. And I feel like I'm sweating so much in groups. And then when I'm here, I feel closer to the people that I've never met. Like I told you before, the people that I've interviewed, I feel closer to them. And I
Yep.
feel like I can become like best friends with them after an hour of chatting to them than like some of the people that I've known for years here in
Mhm,
Portugal, because I'm still feeling like, oh, they're thinking that I'm speaking only about myself. But it's me sharing because I like them. And it's like,
mhm.
if I have to explain everything, I'm going to be speaking until I'm 61.
So I remember saying something about, how we can bond instantly with our own, like, I've talked to you for 5 minutes, you're gonna be my bridesmaid at my wedding next weekend, and they're like, "You can't do that," and I'm like, "No, you can't do that."
Yeah, exactly. Nice. Mic drop, leave room. That's awesome. I love that. I interviewed somebody here, Sam, from social something. I forgot his, maybe Michelle could remember. But it's a sensory social group. Sam Wall, yes, amazing. He's so great. And afterwards, I was like, "You're gonna be my bestie." And other people would be like, "Okay, that's creepy," but we're really good friends now. So it was mutual. It wasn't just from my side. Anyways, I'm not gonna get through these questions, so I need to hurry up a little bit. How do you navigate sharing lived experience online while balancing advocacy with entertainment? That's a difficult question.
I tend to find lived experience just adds weight to what you're saying. So often, a lot of the information up until social media started to take over was, here, some old white man studied
Mm,
little boys 50 years ago, and this is what he discovered. Read the book. And it's dry and it's boring and it's very matter of fact, and there's no nuance to it. There's no color to it. There's no gender to it. There's nothing to it.
mm,
And with lived experience, there's a lot of things which aren't in the diagnostics that probably should be. And it's not even that they should be so much as just like, there's a weird number of us that really like the small spoon when we're eating, and the ones
mm,
that don't like the small spoon have very strong feelings about why they don't like the small
yeah,
spoon. There's a strange number of us that really like dinosaurs, and other dangerous creatures, and it's these sorts of things where you're like, it's not a diagnostic, it's completely unofficial, but there is a strange amount of us that do that, and you
yeah,
just like, when you've got the lived experience on top of it, you start to find, yes, it's small spoon. Michelle's saying
yeah.
there's a lot of nuance that does not get included in the boring book written by the
Mm,
PhD guy. And you're like, that's great and
mm,
all. But also with the lack of nuance, you don't see what things look like day to day. Like,
mm,
there's the reason so many of us are late diagnosed is because most of us, when you think ADHD, you think Bart Simpson. You
mm.
don't think the girl that is daydreaming in class.
Or
You
his
tend to think
sister,
the
even
boy,
his sister. Like
yeah,
Bart Simpson. What's Bart Simpson's sister's name?
Lisa,
Oh, Lisa.
Lisa, yeah.
She's definitely an ADHD.
Yeah, yeah, probably.
Yes.
Um, and then, like, and you've got, like, you there's just no, they only ever describe extreme
Mm,
examples in everything. Like, most people think autism, they think the Rain Man or they think Sheldon, and you're just like,
mm,
it's probably the weird kid you picked on at school. Like,
mm,
it's probably the really smart kid you picked on at
mm.
school. Um so yeah, I think lived
Yeah.
experience, there's a lot more day-to-day nuancy things, and there's just a lot more, you get to see a lot more of what a spectrum looks like. So many people go, "Oh, autism spectrum," but then they still, like, I still get people going, "You're faking it," right? And I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, go talk to the
Mm,
psychologist that diagnosed me then."
yeah.
Yeah, like, it looks different in older people than younger people. It looks different in women than it does girls. It looks different in men than it does boys. It looks different in women than it does boys. Like, it's,
Yeah.
yeah, so many, they're
So
like,
man.
you can't be autistic because 'cause you're nothing like my 8-year-old nephew." I'm like, "I'm a 40-year-old woman. Of course I'm nothing like your 8-year-old nephew."
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. That would be weird if you're like the 8-year-old kid or boy.
yeah.
I think what you're saying as well, what we spoke about earlier with the academia, also just opening up and being more inclusive. There's a long road ahead. My supervisor is actually Michelle Garnett. She works with Tony Atwood. She's amazing.
Love him.
He's really great. She's amazing. She's an ADHDer and she's a professor, doctor. She's got a doctorate and she brings in how it feels into academia, which,
Nice.
I mean, it's so obvious, right? But we're just not doing it.
Mhm.
And academia is closed for it. So I'm trying to fight a battle with a few of my colleagues, but it's a long road. We need to work together because otherwise we're making progress in two different areas and it's
Yeah.
polarizing.
I just tend to find also when they've got their little list of this is what it looks like, they're like, I have never known an autistic person to take the "Are you autistic?" test and actually just be able to answer the questions straightforward. Like, the
Oh,
questions
yes,
are
yes.
so
It's so,
neurotypical.
yeah.
Like,
It's like, what do you mean? Like, when? How many times? This is not, this is like, what?
yeah, and every single question is, "It depends."
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like, even like they're like, one common diagnostic is, "Oh, autistic people are very literal," and I'm like, "Oh, no, I know,
Yeah,
if you're saying it's raining cats and dogs outside, I'm not a 5-year-old. I know what a
exactly.
metaphor is."
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, "No, I'm not that literal." And then when you actually start to look at what does literal mean,
Mm,
you're like, when we hang out and you go, "This was such a great time. Let's do this again soon." I think you mean that we're gonna do it again soon.
yeah.
Or when you say the party starts at 9, I will be at your house at 9.
Yeah.
Like,
Why?
it's I don't know what this fashionably late crap is. I don't know what that
Why?
means.
That is
Don't
so
tell me.
anxiety provoking to be fashionably late. I'm never late. I would sit in the car because I know that I'm the first person there. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to wait 5 minutes because then at least I'm a bit more normal.
Yeah, but it makes me so anxious going, "Oh my god, it's been 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Is
I know
anywhere here?"
exactly.
You might did I get the right day?
I'm getting anxious just thinking about that waiting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and so
no,
it's those sorts
that's
of things, like,
symptoms.
that's what literal thinking is. It's not necessarily that, "Oh, it's raining cats and dogs. Where? Where are the cats and dogs?"
Yeah.
It's I'm not 5. I
Mm,
know what a metaphor is, but our literal thinking is even
yeah.
another video I did one time was another question they often ask, and again, adults often, if you have been missed as diagnosed and you're an adult doing this test, you may miss this question where they go, autistic people, they don't like, scratchy things on the back of their shirt. They always rip the tags off. And I'm like, no, like some tags are fine, whatever. Like, sometimes, sure, but not every time. And I'm like, well,
Uh,
you know why that is? I'm an adult, which means I buy my own clothes and I'm not going to buy the annoying ones. Like, there's
uh,
so many things that kids can't control. And like,
yeah.
same with food. Like, they're like, oh, do you have any trouble eating food? I'm like, no, but I'm not
Yeah.
going to buy myself food that I don't want to eat.
Yeah, exactly. I buy the same things. I eat the
Yeah.
same things. I don't have an issue with those things. Of course not.
I won't eat jelly, but you know what? No one's forcing me to eat it, so it's not a
Yeah.
problem for me.
That's so sad for kids, eh? Like, I really feel bad for them sometimes when I'm like, oh, I was there too, where we were just kind of forced to put on, do you remember like school clothes? That to me, I get like a shiver down my spine when I think I was a tennis player, right? So we could wear any clothes. I was
Yeah,
so happy that I could wear tennis clothes because I would sweat so much in that light blue crappy shirt that we had for high school
yeah,
that I would have this like wet thing under my arm, and then I would be so uncomfortable. This is why I wear black because I can
yeah,
sweat and nobody sees it. But at school, you're just forced to do all these things, and it's
mhm,
yes, it's horrible. Okay, wait, let me go to the next question. I need to be the one that keeps us on track.
right, yeah.
Um, do you think workplace and schools are beginning to value neurodivergent strengths, or is there still a long way to go?
There's a very long way to go. I
Mm,
don't even think that we're really different countries. I hear different countries are a lot better with it. Australia, like
yeah.
a lot of the alternative schools, like Montessori style, things like that, they're a lot better, and you do tend to find they're full of neurodivergent kids because they're not coping in mainstream.
Mm,
Um, you do find the occasional really great teacher, and they're often
yeah.
neurodivergent. But yeah, and a lot of workplaces, I find tech is very neurodivergent friendly, and that's
Mm,
largely because 99% of the people in tech
yeah.
are autistic. Just I remember when I started as a software engineer, normally, I am like the only woman in the room with colored hair. I walked into tech and I'm like, a quarter of the people
Here are
here
my
have
people.
colored hair. Yeah, I'm just like the most like a large chunk of the women here have colored hair. I'm like, here, like this. Oh, I feel really comfortable. No one's staring at me.
Yeah.
Um,
They're also not
yeah,
making eye contact, so they're definitely not staring. They're just kind of like looking where there's a new person that's not
yeah.
making eye contact.
So tech is very neurodivergent friendly.
Mm,
I tend to find you've got quiet rooms to work in. They don't
mhm,
care when you work, just turn up to meetings and get your work done. They got bean bags you can work in, you can work from home. You get like tech
mhm,
is very neurodivergent friendly. And there are different little spots like that. But a lot of jobs are still very much 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. Come in. We don't care if there's nothing to do. Make yourself look busy.
mm,
Yeah. So a lot of like I do tend to we do tend to thrive as entrepreneurs. And again, ADHD has also been described by Forbes as the entrepreneur disorder, and where I think it's like 4 times more likely for entrepreneurs to be ADHD than the average population. And you tend to find a lot of us start our own businesses because you can work whenever you want. And when you're really
mhm,
focused and in on it, you just work your ass off and then you don't have to work again until you feel like doing it later. I know that again, Kaiko fidget toys, they're both the founder, they're an autistic family, an ADHD family,
mm,
and they tend to hire other neurodivergent people. And so and they when they're testing things, they get a whole bunch of neurodivergent people together, all the employees and whatnot. They're like, come and
mhm.
touch this, feel this, play with this. Do you like it? And they actually ask neurodivergent people, do you like the thing that we're developing for you? And
Yeah,
I'm just like,
exactly.
I love that.
Yeah, it's so important. Yeah, I mean, that's why we created Caboose too, is because we want to actually bring in the voices that we're serving. I mean,
Yeah.
it just makes so much sense. But with work, what I've realized is that what you're saying now, all of these things are brilliant pennies that
Yeah.
we can actually write down and try to create like a manual for yourself in a
Mm.
workplace environment and then bring it in and see if it's something that you can include in the current working environment. Michelle does actually a lot of like community groups for people to help them in their workplace with accommodations. I know it's not the favorite word, but with things that they can bring in that could help everyone. I'm going to go over to the next question. What advice would you give to somebody who's struggling to see their ADHD or autism or as anything but a challenge? Like, how would they to watch your videos? I think to make it fun.
Yeah, that you can watch my videos. And again, I said before, studies show that people that view it as a challenge are more likely to see it as a challenge because it's that
Mm,
whole you get what you're looking for.
mm,
They've said that those that tend to view their neurodivergency as a strength, you're more likely to experience it that way, which sounds easy enough. But if you have been the biggest problem and the biggest thing I hate with the diagnostic and whatnot is that we diagnose people from the deficit model. We tell you
mhm,
these are all the things that are wrong with you. This is how you're broken. This is how you're not neurotypical.
mhm.
This is how you're a crap human being. And then they wonder why we've all got self-esteem issues.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's also only half of the picture. I'm like, if you're going to tell me how I'm different from a neurotypical person, tell me all the ways I'm different from a neurotypical
Mm,
person. So tell me that, you know what, you guys are super logical. You are amazing at pattern recognition. A lot of you, not all of you, and I'm not trying to perpetuate a stereotype here, but because you're so good at logic and pattern recognition, pretty much every maths genius ever is a neurodivergent person. Like you
mm,
guys are known for being really good at maths. Not saying that if you're neurodivergent or if you're autistic that you're good at maths,
mm,
but if you're good at maths, you're probably autistic.
mm.
You don't tend to picture a maths genius and go, they wear beige pants and they have blonde hair and they make perfect eye contact. You go, no, it's the weird guy in the corner. Like they
Isn't
never
that the
tell you,
professor that like all the thousands of autisms, the nutty
yeah.
professor type? Yeah.
Like the when you start looking for the good things, it's kind of like I tend to describe the difference between neurotypical and other neurotypes as you've got a roadmap. And say neurotypical is Rome. Well, maybe ADHD and autism, I should be looking at a map of Paris. And if I'm looking at Rome, firstly, I'm going to hit something because I'm looking at the wrong map. And
Mm,
secondly, I'm going to miss out on the Eiffel Tower because I don't even know it's there. I'm not looking. If I'm not looking for the Eiffel Tower, I'm not going to find it. I'm looking at this map and I'm like, where the heck? And I'm going to
mm,
feel like I'm missing a lot of things because I'm like, where's the Sistine Chapel? I can't find it anywhere. And you're looking at the
mm,
wrong map. You're not going to find it. You're going to feel like an idiot because you can't
mm,
find this thing that everyone else can find. And then
mm.
you're also going to miss out on this amazing Eiffel Tower over here because it's not on your map. So you
Oh,
really
that's such
need
a
to look.
nice analogy.
Yeah, you need to look for the strengths. You need to know they exist. And I find it unethical that they don't tell you
Mm,
that these strengths exist. Like they tell you that these weaknesses exist. And
mm,
the weaknesses aren't definite, by the way. It's here's a list of things that you may find challenging. So I don't know why there isn't a list of here's things that you may find easier than everybody else.
mm,
Um, so I think you
mm.
really need to start looking for the strengths. And again, if you don't know where to start, watch my videos because it's what I
Yeah.
do. Um,
I love
And
that.
you need to start going, "Hey, you know what? Like, stop letting people tell you you're crap."
Mm,
Just like you're just like, "No, I'm not
yeah,
brutally honest. I'm honest. There's
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a
I
good
don't
thing.
overshare, I'm sharing. Like,
Yeah,
there's a difference. Stop making I'm not obsessed, I'm passionate. I'm
yeah,
not, I don't have a special interest, I'm just passionate about this."
mm,
Like,
yeah,
so many people there's a lot of pretty much like, most people with a PhD that I know now, I'm not saying I know 50 million of them, but I've got a fair few friends with PhDs. Every single one of them's neurodivergent. Like, they all say that
yeah,
you're broken, you bust you can't I've seen people that they will not diagnose them because 'cause they're like, "You got through university, you can't possibly be ADHD." And I'm like, "Do you know what hyperfocus is?"
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
we can
Yeah,
we are capable of PhDs. Yes, some of
yeah,
us can't, but some of us can, a lot of us
yeah,
can. Well,
yeah,
some of us can, some of us can't. Like, at
yeah.
the end of the day, when we're interested, it's easy.
I mean, the only reason why I'm doing my PhD is because it's my passion. It's
Yeah.
something that I absolutely love is neurodivergence. I wouldn't be able to do it in any other field. I would get bored and lost. But I love that analogy of the maps. I remember walking in Spain and I had a friend from Japan and he kept telling me, Carla, just look up because I was so overwhelmed in Spain because people, I love the Spanish, but they get very close to you and they
Okay.
kind of like touch you and, like there's a lot of people around. So I would always like look down, put my headphones in and just like focus on the cobblestones. And he's like, Carla, look up, you're missing everything. So
Yeah.
I remember that I actually even wanted to get a tattooed on myself, like look up,
Look up.
because it's such a nice analogy, just like to look up to see actually where you're at. And I love
Yeah.
that analogy of the maps. Like we're looking at the wrong map. So we're trying to find one thing and it's all these like beautiful things around us if we stop looking at like all the things that the DSM is saying that's wrong with us.
R
Well, we can change this. Joe, you and I can change it with my PhD.
Yes.
We can be a different type. Okay, wait. I need two more questions and then three quick ones, and then I need these questions as well. We don't have a lot of time left. So I'm gonna like shoot them really quickly.
Try and answer quick.
Okay, so actually one more. Okay, so if you could change one mainstream stereotype about neurodivergent people, what would it be and why?
It would 100% be that we are not broken, busted, and need curing. We are not an inferior neurotype. Go fuck yourself.
Just like that. I'm gonna add it in my thesis at the end. Like drop, leave, hand in my thesis. I'm done. Thanks, Catholica.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the short version. If we're trying to do things fast.
Yeah, exactly done. Yeah, okay. All right. No, perfect. Let's stop at that. I think it's powerful. If your brain were a character, these are like quick fiery questions, right?
Yep.
If your brain were a character in a movie or a TV show, who would it be and why?
Oh, there's so many. Okay, if we're going quick, the top one off the top of my head, probably SpongeBob.
I also thought about SpongeBob. That's so funny. I think I'd like put it into your brain there.
Because he gets just so excited over, like, just blowing
Yeah.
bubbles, and his best friend is just somebody else that enjoys blowing bubbles, and he accidentally pisses off his neighbor all the time without realizing it just because he's excited, and you're
Oh,
just like, yeah, it's probably
SpongeBob
SpongeBob.
definitely neurodivergent. Doesn't he have
Yeah.
also blue hair?
No, he has
Nice,
no hair,
yeah.
he's a sponge.
Right, true. Sorry, I haven't seen it for a while. What's your go-to neurodivergent life hack that you swear by, if you have one?
I've got a few. Okay, I can't pick a top one. How about top 3? One
Mm,
would be get someone to rely on you. Like, if I have to get up and do something, I'm not gonna if so let's say you have to be somewhere by
mm,
7 in the morning, I'm not a morning person. Don't rely on yourself because you'll just be like, "Stuff it, snooze, whatever."
mm,
But if somebody's gonna pick me up, or if I need to pick someone else up, I am not going to
mhm.
let them down. Like, so get
Yeah,
someone to
use the
rely on you.
guilt. So sorry. Just pause there for a second because that's such an important strategy. We have
Sure.
such a sense of morality. Like we want to do good by other people. We don't want to screw up their time. We don't want to
Yeah.
disrespect it. I use that guilt factor all the time. I'll tell somebody, look, can you give me a call at 7? Because then we'll have the call. And if they call, I'm not going to waste their time. But now I have to
Mm-mm.
answer the question, the call, and it's all these things that I struggle with, but it's somebody else. So it does help. That really
Yeah.
works. Yeah.
Another one is you have to make things fun. Like,
Mm,
our brains are interest-based. We have an interest-based nervous system, not an importance-based nervous system. Like, neurotypicals do things that they
mm,
think are important. We will do things that we think are fun. If it's not fun, you're not gonna do it. So if it might take a little bit longer to do the dishes while you're having a dance party and you're doing a rock ballad with the sponge or whatever, but
mm.
it'll get done. Like,
Uh,
if things are boring, we won't do them, basically. And the
nice.
third one would be, I call it the fuck it method.
Uh,
It's just, if you can't do it all, do something. Do one
Yeah.
thing.
One
And
thing,
you're
action,
just
any
like,
action.
it's not perfect, but
Yeah.
fuck it.
Yeah.
So if I can't clean the whole kitchen, just put away the plate that you used tonight. And
Yeah.
often it works in 2 ways. One, you can be proud of yourself because I did one thing and it's one thing better than it was.
Mhm.
And 2, often when you do one thing, that actually gives you enough of a little dopamine hit to go, "Oh, I
I
might
could
do 2
just do
things."
one things. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I might go. So if like you gotta go to the gym and you're normally there for 2 hours, just go and do 2 sets or something instead of 4. You did
Mhm.
something. And you're just like,
Or
just
even
phone
drive. This is what I've done once. As like I just drove to the gym because I was like,
Yeah,
oh, I don't want to go in. I haven't been there. They're gonna ask so many questions. It's gonna be social. Da, da, da. So I drove, sat outside in the gym,
yeah,
and then I left. And the next day I was like, oh, I can just go in now. So it was just like that first step of like getting also comfortable again with going.
yeah,
Yeah, I love that. Also, anxiety decreases when we start with an action.
yep. When you do
So
something.
something,
Yeah.
anything, like even just the jumping jack with your sponge, because you brought up sponge again. Wasn't
Yeah.
me. Okay, awesome. Last question, and then we're gonna go to the audience questions. If you could design the perfect neurodivergent friendly hangout space, what absolutely has to be in it? Me, you, and I'm
Beanbags.
joking.
It has to
Already
be
met.
beanbags.
I made you my bestie now too. You and Seb and me and
And the beanbags. I love beanbag chairs. I love like, normal chairs are, like, physically painful to sit in for too long. It just
yeah,
shits me beanbags. Every time I've ever gone to a place and I'm like, "This feels like you've made it neurodivergent friendly," there's always beanbags. So I would
nice.
say
Okay, beanbags. I'm not a big fan of beanbags. I'm
sometimes
sorry.
you can
You
actually
g-
get beanbag couches. They're actually
okay, okay,
shaped
okay,
like
okay,
a
okay,
chair.
okay, okay,
It's actually shaped like a chair, but it's low on the ground. So
okay,
it's still got shape to it. Yeah, they're the
okay. I'll
best.
do
They're
that.
called,
What are they called?
what brand is it? I've got, here it is, Ambient Lounge. Ambient Lounge are the best.
Okay,
I love them.
nice. I'm definitely gonna check them out. Ambient lounge. I
Yeah.
need to write that down because otherwise I won't. Okay, I am going to quickly go to the audience questions because we had some good questions here. Thank you so much for being so interactive, audience members. And Joe, I absolutely love your answers, by the way. I can speak to you for another few hours. How have you managed the neurotypical comments about changing careers or jobs, especially when organizations like consistency in work history? This is a very good question,
Are
actually.
you talking like in an interview? Is that what we're talking about? Um,
Like maybe just, yeah,
we're
I
talking.
mean,
Okay.
yes.
Well, that's tricky because I don't think anyone ever cared. I don't think I've ever had anyone that cared.
Or like a break, because I think a lot of times we take breaks for a year and then we go back into work environments, like maybe in an interview.
Okay, so when it comes to interviews, there is this is terrible, but I'm going to tell you a trick. You can lie. And I know we're terrible at that, but here's the thing, they don't know you're lying. And I'm not saying, like, just because, and when I say lie, it's because so often neurotypical workplaces, first of all, they lie on their resume so much it's ridiculous. But when I say lie, don't go with some big. You take a year off. Just say something really simple like, "I was looking after my grandmother. She was in poor health." That is
Mm.
like a universally acceptable answer to take a year off. Um, I mean, you can go with the "I'm traveling," but then they might go, "Oh, you're a bit narcissistic. You're just going to do the whole find myself thing." But I do tend to find looking after a sick relative does seem to be universally acceptable.
Everybody's gonna have sick grandmas
Everyone's got
now.
sick relatives. Yeah. And also, the other thing about sick relatives, they don't ask follow-up questions.
Yeah, so
They
well,
just go,
that's true.
yeah. Because if you say, I took off 2 years to build my own business," and they go, "Oh, how did that go?" And you go, "Oh, well, it obviously went bung, didn't it? Because I'm here now." Like, they don't ask follow-up questions when you go, "I was looking after my
What
grandmother in
about if
palliative."
what if you maybe say, I was looking after some loved one. I was looking
Yeah,
after somebody's mental health, a loved one. And because that could be yourself. Because I'm thinking for myself, like I am such a bad liar. So if I
same.
do lie, it needs to have like a bit of truth. So I'm like, well, if it's a loved one, that could be myself, right?
Yeah, no, mine does need to be true too. So, which, I have looked after my grandmother before.
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
not
Like
for a
she's
whole
for a year.
year. I mean, for an afternoon, we went and chatted. Um, but, like, as long as there is an
It's a
element of
long
truth
chat.
to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I think with the job hopping, maybe just mentioning, look, I have a lot of interest. I like to look at different things. I like to find solutions. So the base is always kind of like problem solving, being curious. If we reframe it, I mean, that's what we do in interviews, right? We reframe everything to a positive. I wish we can do it with our personality too and our profiles. But I think that's a good start. We have a couple of more questions and we have 2 minutes. So I want to just get through. I struggle with masking. How can I start to be more myself and not worry about what other people think? That's from Emily.
Uh, One big one is, having a neurodivergent community. I tend to find I don't hang out with
Mm,
neurotypicals anymore, and not deliberately. I just found a group of neurodivergent people, and after being like, quite accident, like, just happened to move to an area, and there was just a lot of us, and I'm like, "This is amazing." And then after having so many neurodivergent friends, I'm like, "This is actually amazing," and I'm not exhausted, and at one point, I had nothing but neurotypical friends at the time, and it was just absolutely
mm,
exhausting constantly. And nowadays, where we've just moved a bit ago, and there's no neurodivergent people here, and I'd actually rather be alone. Like,
mm,
I'm just like, it's not worth the effort to
yeah,
like, I'd rather be alone than have to pretend, and because I found it exhausting to hang out with a lot of neurotypical women. Um, they weren't actually my friends anyway. Like, when I left that group, no one actually called to say, like, I was in this particular group for years. This is and
mm,
no one called to say, "Hey, how are you doing?" afterwards. No one said, "Hey, let's hang out for coffee." So they didn't actually, I mean, they didn't not like me, but they didn't like me enough to actually
mm,
follow up on me after knowing me for years. So I don't bother putting in the
mm,
effort anymore. I would
mm,
rather talk to people online, other neurodivergent people online, like, "Come join my favorite cult. Come be weird with
mm,
us because we fucking love it when you're weird. The
mm.
weirder, the better." But
Yeah.
yeah, feel free to join one of our hangouts. I think you might enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got hangouts. Yeah, I mean, you can also obviously join us and you can chat about the cult there too because we've got hangouts with at Caboose, which is awesome. It's like it's these kind of little groups where everybody just feels like they belong and you can join for free and it's amazing.
You can often find neurodivergent adults. You can find them in adult sports. They're often in sports. They're often in
Yeah.
the arts, gigs, music,
Comic-Con.
art, moving. Oh yeah, Comic Con, obviously.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Basically, think creative
Yeah.
spaces and moving spaces. They're often
Mm,
the places where you can find a lot of them. So
yeah.
go to an art course at the local gallery or something. Or
Yeah, like one thing that I did this year, because after my 5-year relationship, I was like, oh, wait, I don't have any friends. We are going to wrap up soon, but I just want to quickly tell you the story. And then I was like, okay, I need to make friends. And what I did is I downloaded the guide of what to do in the area and I did everything. I
oh,
am
that's cool.
so crap with ceramics, by the way. I noticed. I make bowls like a small bowl, medium bowl, big bowl, large
Yep.
bowl, wide bowl, small, like all these different bowl. I have so many bowls. If you want a
Yeah.
bowl, I can send it to you. But
I put
uh,
we did that at work one time, and then I put boobs on my bowl.
that's such a see, I should have told you that before. I could have made a boob bowl.
You coulda, yeah, and then I also put a bit of a booty on it, and then at the end, they're like, "Hey, everyone show us your bowl." I'm like, "Are there kids here?" Because we were doing it via Zoom. This was during COVID, work organised it for us. I'm like, "Are there kids in anybody else's Zoom?" Like,
People.
I can't show you my bowl if there's children here.
Oh, that's
Because I
awesome.
also had it was a little bit Picasso-y in
Yeah, but I mean, that's really good. But the point there was I'm making friends because I'm just
yeah.
joining all these random things and it really is. I mean, online also. So I'm going to wrap up because this was lovely. And like I said, I can speak to you for hours, but I don't want to disrespect your time too. Joe, you're
Oh,
amazing. You are my favorite Joe. Actually, two favorite Joes. I love Joe from Kaiko Kid Fidget.
yes. Yeah.
So, two
Very fair.
favorite Joes. But this is a reminder to our audience that we have a range of divergent discussions coming up. I will be talking to Michelle. Oh, I am actually going to be talking to Michelle about ableism. It took me a week and a half to say it correctly. Janine Lillian joins us to discuss self care, and Ruby Susan will join us to talk about knowing your rights in the disability and LGBTQIA plus space. You can get those tickets through Humanitix. Head to our website or check out our app. A reminder that you have a paid ticket, you'll receive the replay. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. And Joe, you've been an absolute delight. I love your videos and I love you live here even more so.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.